Hello and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to talk about the latest thing that I got in the mail. This here, which to the camera it looks just like a black box. You can kind of see, well, if it wasn't upside down, you can kind of see what it is. It is an Analog Duo. I am not happy that the box showed up kind of crushed. Almost looks like it got hit by a forklift, but luckily for me, the console itself was just fine. And here it is. It is smaller than I was expecting by a large amount. I, for some reason, was expecting it to be closer to this big, like the original Turbo Duo was, but it's not. It's pretty small. It's nice. It can fit on a shelf. If it wasn't for the fact that the controller port's on the side, but we'll get to that in a second. So what does this do? This plays both the HuCard games from both the TurboGrafx 16 and the PC Engine, and I guess thirdly the Super Graphics, which there was only 4 games for that, and it also plays all the CD games that were for both systems. The reason I got this is because the CD systems are incredibly expensive. This came out to be cheaper, plus it also plays all the imports, which the regular system does not. I do have a TurboGrafx 16, and I still have a use for it, because I'll get to that in a second. On the back of this, we have an SD card slot, which I'd highly recommend you put one in so you can do the system update, as well as have save states and all kinds of other stuff. You apparently get some sort of like personal library collection or something. We have HDMI, and we have 2 USB ports for, not entirely sure, maybe controllers, because it's supposed to support a lot of controllers. Here's power, with his only USB-C. On this side, we have the single controller port for a PC Engine controller. Yes, that is PC Engine size. That is not TurboGrafx size, and I will show you the difference. TurboGrafx size is yay sized, pretty big. It's about the size of a MIDI port, and the PC Engine one is the size of like an S-Video. Luckily, this old school branded turbo controller came with the adapter. Otherwise, I would have no controller for this. But this does support pretty much anything made by 8BitDo, including the turbo pad, whatever you want to call it. It also has an audio out with a volume slider or wheel, kind of like an old school Genesis. And then what I can only imagine is for pairing controllers right here. I don't have the turbo pad to go with this. I do have an 8BitDo Super Nintendo controller. I have not tried that. But yeah, that's pretty much an overview of what the system looks like. Somebody has opened this. The CD drive is literally an LG laptop CD drive out of a laptop. So it's basic parts, standard connections. If it ever fails, you can just get one out of a laptop and throw it in here. Very simple. HuCards are HuCards, so you can't really off the shelf that one. One thing I'd like to note about the system is the HuCard slot. Well, it does take HuCards just fine. They do click in pretty far into the system with leaving just minimal space. So if you're like me and you happen to have a HuCard that was a repro that looks like this, you are out of luck. It ain't gonna go in. It hits the chip, and yeah. There's no way, unless you physically open the system. Then yeah, it probably would work, but I am not about to do that. But yeah, let's plug this in. I'm going to run it through my capture box, and we're going to take a look. Okay, so here we are into the main menu. Library would show you all the games that you've played before. Memories would be, like save states. Controllers, you can pair controllers here, obviously. Then you got some settings. You got the Analog OS, where you can set the date and time, simple stuff like that. But we won't get into that. Let's actually play a game here. I don't have a memory card in it yet, so kind of defeats some of the point of some of those other things. I have Final Lap Twin in the system, and I can tell you this looks amazing for the upscaling it's doing. Is a good name to pick. So let's get going. We'll just pick the first car, first race, first everything, so we can get an idea what's going on here. I think it looks incredible. It upscales it perfectly. It's not fuzzy. It's got no lag to it. It really plays so nice. Now, that's not saying that I'm any good, but I did also play some of Keith Courage on here in Alpha Zones. I don't quite like the game that much. It's okay. I actually enjoyed my time playing this so much more that I decided I'm going to use this for the video until, of course, I get my first CD game, which is going to be Ys Book 1 and 2. Unfortunately, the US edition of the game is currently running for $160+. So it's one of those, do I wait out the price until maybe I can find a loose copy for under $100, or do I just kind of suck it up and get the Japanese version that I actually did find for, I think it was like $35, and then just don't have the ability to understand anything that's going on. I have yet to make that decision. Of course, I can just get a repro game for $20. Nightwing makes them, and they look really nice. But you know, it comes down to, do I want to get authentic? And you know, as much as I'm okay with repro games, in fact, I showed you one earlier. It's kind of a game that I've always wanted, and I've held out from getting alternate versions or emulating, just for the fact of eventually playing it on this system. And then to cheap out now would be kind of pointless. So anyway, are we going to catch the guy in the front? I don't know. He's really far ahead at this point. This game is not easy. It's a pretty good racer. I don't really care for these racers normally, but it handles better than usual. I say that as I hit the sign. But usually the handling in these games is so awful that I just can't stand them. But this one's not bad. The graphics for an 8-bit console are pretty good. Music on Turbo has always been pretty good. You know, compared to like the Master System or NES, this system really blew them away. Hey, we got 3rd place. Not bad. We're gonna try the next race. Maybe not in this video, but yeah, as you can see, this outputs some pretty good gameplay. And I'm excited to finally be able to play CD-based games, whether they are official or not. And I will see you in the next one.